Hey there, writers. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that I read about in the news and I just had a few thoughts on, which I thought it might be fun to share. So this news was about book subscription services. So what I'm talking about is these services where you sign up and you get like a box of books and goodies which come to your house kind of every month, every 3 months, whatever. You can set them up as a subscription. You can do them as a one-time thing. And what's lovely about these services is that you often get to try authors that you might not already. Sometimes they have some really beautiful covers that are different to those that you can get in like Waterstones or on Amazon. And they have like the special edges, all that kind of stuff. You might get some things from the author, like about their writing of the book, or kind of bookmarks, all kinds of different things. And I think that they can make a really thoughtful gift for someone, especially if they have a mug in. I love a mug, so yeah, if it's got a mug in, I'm all up for that. So some of these subscription services have moved into publishing, basically, and that is what I was wanting to discuss here. So I've never actually bought a book subscription service for myself. I have gifted them a couple of times and have had lovely feedback, but then who's going to say your present was absolutely rubbish that you got for me? But they're a pretty big deal here. So one of the biggest ones in the UK is known as Fairy Loot, and it's a fantasy based subscription service, and it has 569,000 followers on just Instagram. This is like really big. And what this means is that for an author who has one of their books sent out in these boxes, that is a huge deal. And it has actually meant a massive rise in success for some authors because their books have been chosen to go in these boxes and they've been sent out to thousands and thousands of people, and so have ended up hitting the best-selling charts, whereas maybe their book might have gone more unnoticed before. And this has got to be a fantastic thing. I love this. And I do love the idea that these boxes are specially curated for people based on your interests. Moving on to the publishing side of it, though. So Fairy Loot has announced a collaboration. This was back in January, I think, with Transworld, which is part of Penguin and Random House. And the Canada-based subscription service, Owl Crate, has launched its own press, Owl Crate Press. So the difference between these two things is that, so in the case of Fairy Loot, you have got them presumably prioritizing books from the publisher that they are affiliated with in their box. So first of all, I don't know how I feel about this, because if they are carefully curating for people, then surely they used to look a lot wider than just one publisher. I mean, I'm guessing it isn't just books that are published from that publisher, but it does seem a little bit strange that they would have such a collaboration, especially if it's a fairly close collaboration. But when it comes to the actual publishing company, like with Owlcrate, that's what I'm particularly interested in, because I think there are two sides to this. So from an author's point of view, if you were to submit your book to this new press and it was taken on, you are pretty much guaranteed thousands of sales. That's the thing. Whereas if you sign with a different publisher, I mean, obviously it depends a bit on how much money they're willing to throw behind your book for marketing, the size of the publisher and things like that. But I'm not sure that you could guarantee that many sales. That's a really like big positive for authors there. So from an author's point of view, I can see that it's good, but it is a very new press. So I would be concerned about that, because especially in today's economic climate, it's tough in publishing. It really is. People are not buying nearly as many books as they were. However, what they are buying are special books. They are spending more on special books, on those special edges that we talked about, on those special editions. So maybe if this new Owl Crate press can make special editions, that would really make it stand out and make it more successful. But because it is so new, as an author, I would be a little bit worried that it might not succeed, especially because it's starting up so big. You know, it's not beginning small and growing over a number of years. Like my own publisher, Joffy Books, they started off very small and they've grown and grown and taken over other publishers and being attacked by leaves here. And it's been quite an organic process, whereas this is really big starting out. So I'd be a little bit concerned about that. But what I'm thinking for the readers is a little bit like what I was thinking about Fairy Loot and their affiliation with a particular publisher, is that maybe you're not getting such a wide choice of books because they are presumably definitely going to be putting copies of the books which are produced by their own publishing company into these boxes. You could look at it that they know what their customers want. They are experts in what their customers want. And so therefore the books that they publish are going to be perfect for you as their loyal customer. I kind of thought that the whole idea of these boxes was introducing people to different writers that they might not have found by themselves, as well as the special editions and the all the lovely little things that you get in the box as well. What I think this sounds a little bit like is when Netflix first started making its own films and TV series. And from what I remember, some of the earlier ones were not that great, but they've had quite a lot of success now. I mean, I think some of their films have even won Oscars and stuff like that. And I know that I've watched some Netflix only films and series that have been absolutely fantastic. So maybe it is a case that it just took them a little while to kind of work out exactly what they were doing. Maybe that will be the same in the case of these subscription services going into publishing, or maybe because they know exactly what their subscribers are wanting, they will just like get it right first time and it's going to be completely amazing. So yeah, I think as an author I would potentially be quite interested in these new publishing companies that are coming out, and I would possibly look into them if I was looking for a new publisher for my books, and if there was one that particularly dealt with contemporary romance, which is what I generally write. However, as a reader, I think this would put me off the subscription boxes a little more, and I would be much more tempted to go along to my local bookshop. A lot of bookshops have now started doing their own boxes, which I think is such a fantastic idea for people to be able to order. Some of them have even got websites. There's one called Bookish in Crickhowell in Wales where I live, and they do the most beautiful looking boxes that you can send out to people, all from stock that they have in their bookshops. I really like that idea, and I do feel that that's more individual than what we're going to end up with these subscription services turning into publishers or affiliating themselves with individual publishers. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that you found this interesting, and if you have any thoughts on this topic, please make sure that you put them in the comments below. I'd love to get a little bit of discussion going. Please boot the like button if you've enjoyed it as well, and subscribe if you're not already, because we have a lot of fun here in my garden with the noisy birds above me. I will catch you in the next one.